Every day, we engage in activities and behaviors that we are not consciously deciding to take. For example, think about your morning routine. How much of that morning routine is automatic? The side you get out of bed, getting dressed, brushing your teeth. Or maybe you find yourself at the local coffee shop ordering a latte and cookie every afternoon at 3 o'clock, even when you're not hungry. About 80% of our behavior is driven by implicit memory, and it's outside of our conscious awareness. That's why you can implement a change in your organization, train people on a new activity or behavior, and not see the expected results. You think it's resistance. It's not. Stay tuned. In this video, I'm going to share with you why it's not resistance and introduce you to a phase of the change process that often gets ignored. It comes after implementation, and it is critical if you want new activities and behaviors to stick. Hello, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Dawn-Marie Turner, president of Turner Change Management and creator of the Readiness Mindset. What's the phase of the change process that comes after implementation and is critical for sustainable change? Steady state. In a previous video, I shared why implementation of change doesn't lead to sustainable change, and I will post that video in the show notes below. Before we explore this phase of change, that new steady state phase of the change process, it's helpful to understand 3 things about our brain that influence and drive our ability to implement and sustain new activities and behaviors. First, our brain's primary purpose is to keep us alive. So it makes sense that it's risk averse. Its default is to keep us in our current state, in our comfort zone, because the second thing we need to understand about the brain is that it's a prediction machine. So to keep us alive, we are constantly and often unconsciously assessing the information we receive to predict what will happen next. Our ability to predict can enable us to anticipate possible danger, even before we're consciously aware of the risk. For example, you jump out of the way and then a car goes speeding by, and you didn't even think you saw the car. Our prediction ability is also used in more mundane activities, like anticipating the next step when walking downstairs. If you've ever tripped because you anticipated a step that wasn't there, you know what it's like when the prediction fails. However, one problem when it comes to change with our ability to predict is that our predictions are based on what has happened in the past. So if you encounter something new or different, your brain will react based on your experience with a similar situation. And because its primary purpose is survival, your default will be to stay in the current state, question the need, and assess the risk of doing something differently. If you also have had previous experience that you encountered high levels of discomfort or it was threatening, then the pull to stay in that comfort zone will be even stronger. Before we talk about the third thing we need to understand about the brain, I just want to invite you, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us keep the channel going, and it will ensure that you get the newest content as soon as it's available. The third and the most significant reason many new activities and behaviors don't stick is that our brain is lazy. Okay, maybe a nicer way to say that is that our brain is energy conscious. It wants to do the most amount of work with the least amount of energy or effort. That's why we are so quick to develop habits. And once those habits form, our brain kind of stops working as hard and activates a type of autopilot for all of those activities, those routines, and those behaviors. Write in the comment section, what routines and patterns do you do without even thinking? For example, maybe you automatically pull out your phone while waiting in a grocery line. Or think about driving a car and how that process of driving is automatic, and sometimes so automatic you can arrive at your destination and not remember anything about the drive. These three things are why this last phase of the change process, steady state, is so important. Unless we consciously uncouple from our routines and habits and then reinforce the new activities and behaviors until they become routines and habits to ensure that those new neural pathways can be sustained, we will revert to our previous habits and routines. Consciously uncoupling from the existing activities and behaviors must begin before implementation. During the discovery phase of the continuum, it really begins at that awareness phase and then takes hold during that discovery phase of the continuum of change. I did a previous video on the continuum of change, and I'll post that in the show notes. Then it's during implementation that we consciously begin to engage with the new activities and behaviors. However, those new activities and behaviors aren't yet truly comfortable, and they will only stick when they have become embedded into our routines, into our operation. And that embedding happens during the steady state phase of the change process. It's in that steady state phase that those new behaviors, those new activities become normal activities. They become the habits and the routines, and they get fully embedded into either your daily operation or how you engage with the world, like brushing your teeth in the morning. If this phase of the change process is skipped, or short circuit. For example, maybe you start another change initiative before those activities or behaviors have been fully adopted, then you risk those new activities and behaviors not sticking and then not achieving and sustaining your desired outcome. You also risk that any new or additional changes or any ongoing changes also won't be successful. And when the steady state phase of the change process is skipped, people learn to avoid change and they begin to doubt your organization's capability for enabling change. This phase of the change process is absolutely critical to your success. And time, resources, and energy needs to be built in to your transition planning and the support that you give to people to help them navigate and achieve your desired outcome. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.